Hey guys, we are going to be learning about some environmental science today. So we are starting with chapter 1, section 1. So the case study at the beginning of your book talks about the greening of American schools. A lot of schools around the country are taking sustainability very seriously, incorporating green building designs, waste recycling and repurposing. We've got a little bit of that at Southport High School. And then curricula that includes environmental science and sustainability themes, which is the class you're taking. So good job on that part. Think about what other ways where people are and businesses are increasing energy efficiency and reducing their own environmental impact, from places offering discounts if you bring a reusable container to encouraging reusable bags instead of the paper or plastic bags, stuff like that. All right, so sustainability is something that we're going to be talking about throughout the year. So it's a good thing we start off with it. Sustainability is the ability of Earth's natural systems and human cultural systems to survive and flourish into the long-term future. So what this means is we're using the stuff that Earth gives us to not only survive, but make sure we're able to be successful into the future. So it's not about just now, it's about our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids, and will they have what they need to survive as well. So before each section of notes, we have a couple pre-test questions, and then afterwards we'll have a couple post-test questions. So the pre-test questions are all true and false. I will read them, give you a second to think about the answer, and then give you the answer. We're not expecting that you know all of this right off the bat, but these are the things you will be able to answer at the end. So first statement is, biodiversity is one key to the long-term sustainability of life on Earth. And that is true. We will be focusing a lot on biodiversity this year. Using natural resources is considered a sustainable practice because most natural resources are in limitless supply and cannot be degraded or depleted. Yeah, that's a big old false, so we'll talk about that. Ecosystem services are services that are supplied by humans for the environment. We haven't learned about this yet. The answer is false. They are actually supplied by the environment for humans. In a healthy, functioning ecosystem, chemicals and nutrients are constantly being recycled and reused. This is true. And one of the main goals of environmental science is to help humans use the environment in a way that is economically profitable. This would be false. We've been using the environment in economically profitable ways for years, and that is why we are in the state we are in. So we will talk more about that as well. All right. Chapter 1, Section 1, what are some key factors of sustainability? Life on Earth has been around for 3.8 billion years and has been sustained by the sun, lots of biodiversity, and nutrient cycling. We're going to touch on some of these aspects now and then go into greater detail in later chapters. Life on Earth depends on energy from the sun and natural capital provided by Earth, and can be preserved by shifting towards full cost pricing and win-win solutions, which I will talk more about in a little bit. So environmental science is a study of connections in nature. So when we talk about the environment, what is that? It's everything around us, living and non-living. So you can have a classroom environment, you can talk about, but mainly we're talking about the environment, the outside, the trees, the rocks, the birds, the animals, everything. But it does include all the buildings and all that stuff too, which is taking up a large part of the environment. What is environmental science? The class you are in. Interdisciplinary study of how humans interact with the environment, and we are going to draw on engineering, natural sciences, social sciences, and ethics. One thing I really like about this class is we're going to touch on a lot of different subjects. You can incorporate a lot of other topics into environmental science. So if economics is your thing, we will talk about that. If engineering is your thing, there's a lot of future for you in environmental science. And then environmentalism, a social movement dedicated to sustaining Earth's life support system. So it just pretty much means we want to keep living on this Earth and have it provide for us and not die out. So caring for the Earth. The goals of environmental science. We want to look at the ecology of organisms in their ecosystem. We can learn a whole lot about them and how maybe they can benefit us and how we can benefit them. Learn how life on Earth has survived and thrived, learning from our history, learning from the past, and learning how to use that into the future. Understand how humans interact with the environment. If we don't realize we're having a negative or a positive impact on something, we don't know how to change our behavior. So we need to understand how our interactions with the environment affect that environment. And then find ways to deal with environmental problems and live more sustainably, which is my challenge for you guys for this school year, is to find ways to deal with environmental problems you see in your life and to live more sustainably. So we have three main scientific factors of sustainability. We have solar energy, which supplies nutrients both directly and indirectly. So that's the sun. So it provides heat. That heat is going to then control both air and water currents. It also provides those nifty rays for plants to do their photosynthesis, which feeds everything on the planet. If you're not eating a plant, you're eating something that ate a plant and got its energy from the sun. So all sources of energy eventually can be tied back to the sun. Biodiversity literally means all of the variety of life. So this provides ecosystem services and adaptability. Once again, I will talk more about that in just a little bit. And then nutrient cycling. So you've talked about nutrient cycles in your biology class. You have the carbon cycle and the water cycle and the nitrogen cycle. We'll also talk about phosphorus and sulfur in this class, and maybe go into just a little bit more detail. But it's the cycling of all those life-giving nutrients and chemicals between organisms and the environment. So you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. So it's a nifty little system we have set up so we keep each other alive. Social factors of sustainability, and there's a lot of social factors in sustainability and environmental issues. Economics, money. If people don't care about the environment, they will care about money. Full cost pricing to include environmental and health costs of producing goods and services. There are a lot of subsidies in place, not always in the right places, to help things be cheaper than they should be. So if we were actually paying what things cost, people would be making different choices. So that is one thing we can do to help people make better choices. If we did not have the subsidies on fossil fuels, a tank of gas will cost you about $12. I bet you would be much more cautious of how often you drive and how much you use your car if you were paying $12 a gallon to put in your car. Political science, win-win solutions to environmental problems. Fossil fuels. We don't want to burn them, but what are we going to do with them? You can actually use them to make stuff with. A lot of the newer car parts are actually made, you use them to make plastics. So you can not set them on fire, but turn them into structures. So that's some way so the people who own the fossil fuels still get money, but we're not setting them on fire and putting that extra carbon dioxide in the air. And then ethics, a responsibility to protect Earth for future generations. Some people, it's all about them. It's all about at that moment. It's just what they want. But I think we really need to challenge ourselves to be thinking globally and to be thinking about not only do we have what we need for our life, but will our kids have what they need? Will they have fresh air? Will they have fresh water? Will they have enough food to eat? All of those things. And then our grandkids and our great-grandkids. You don't want to just think about right now. You have to be thinking about the future. Right now, thinking has gotten us where we are right now. Right now. Sustainability and natural capital. So here's a good word. That might be good to know for an upcoming test or something. Natural capital is your natural resources, air, water, stuff, food, and ecosystem services. So your natural resources are natural minerals and energy sources that are essential or useful to humans. So wood to build houses with, sand to build things with, rocks, food, like I said, air, water. These can be inexhaustible, these can be renewable, or these can be non-renewable, which I will talk about later. And then we have ecosystem services. So these are free natural services provided by healthy ecosystems, and they're going to support human life and economics. So this is stuff the earth just does for us because it's awesome like that. Oxygen is made for us by plants. Carbon is absorbed for us by plants. The sun heats the earth. The soil filters our water for us. All these nifty things that we are not paying for, the earth is just doing for us. So a natural resource is a thing, and an ecosystem service is something that is being done for us by the earth. Here are some examples. So natural resources, air, water, renewable energy, life itself, biodiversity, once again, that will be mentioned a lot, land, soil, non-renewable energy like fossil fuels, and non-renewable minerals like iron and sand. So those are all things that we can get from living on this planet. Then you have your ecosystem services. The air gets purified. It helps with climate control. It helps with UV protection. The ozone layer keeps me from setting on fire every time I go outside because I'm a little bit pale, so it doesn't take long at all for me to turn very red. With life, it helps with population control and pest control. And we'll talk more about that later as well. Land helps with food production, helps with nutrient recycling, soil renewal. We'll talk more about that. And then with water, it can treat the water and purify the water. So lots of things that the planet does for us and gives for us. Pretty nifty. So natural capital, challenges and solutions. How do humans degrade natural capital? We tend to use renewable resources way faster than nature can restore them. So water is, if you paid attention to the water cycle, we will always have water. Will we always have fresh, clean, pure water? Probably not. We're using it up way faster than we should be. We also tend to overload natural resources with pollution and waste. So sticking with the water theme, not only are we using it up too fast, is we're polluting what we've got. So then there's less for us to drink from and water our crops with. Some solutions that can help protect natural capital. You have to look at the scientific versus the economic and political solutions. So it's not, once again, it's not all about making as much money as we can, because it's really hard to count your money if you can't breathe fresh water or breathe fresh air or drink clean water. So you need to come up with a balance there. Come up with trade-offs and compromises. You want to make sure that you, hey, I'll do this if you do this, and then we both kind of win. And then daily, individual, and local contributions. And I will give you many, many, many ways that you can be doing your part to help the environment. All right, you survived section 1 from chapter 1. So let's see if you learned anything. Which of the following is not a factor of sustainability? Economics, ethics, biodiversity, natural capital, or solar energy? If you picked natural capital, you are correct. Which resource does not need to be cycled by ecosystems because a continuous unlimited supply is available? So we had A, solar energy, B, water, C, pollinators, D, carbon, or E, natural gas. Answer would be A, solar energy. Suppose you're part of a community with a sustainable yield of fish. Which of the following would be true? The yield of fish is increasing each year. No other species of fish have been inadvertently caught. The rate of harvest does not exceed the fish population's rate of recovery. The community has harvested enough fish to meet its nutritional requirements. Or E, the fish are being harvested using humane methods. Now, the question said a sustainable yield of fish, which says I have enough for now and the future. So C says we are not exceeding the fish's population's rate of recovery. So we're taking enough for us, but we are leaving enough for the future. So the answer is C. And together, natural resources and ecosystem resources are referred to as A, inexhaustible resources, B, natural capital, C, environmental degradation, D, biodiversity, or E, ecological footprints. The answer for that one is B, natural capital. It's been 2 answers so far in the post-test, so I might know that one. All right, you have survived chapter 1, section 1. I'll see you guys later. Bye.